thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Vass. I'm your host for this very special moment where we're going to take a look at the Trump presidency to date, the 47th president. A lot has been happening in the world, and as we approach the 2026 midterm elections, as many people talk about 2028, as the world is changing before our eyes, we want to take a moment to look at where we have come from, where we are now, and where we will be going forward. I have with me two guests that I think will be very helpful in this to make sure that we are having the clearest view of the Trump presidency, the good and the bad. And I have with me two guests. On my right is my good friend. I do want you to know he is my good friend for over a decade, but also a candidate for governor, Libertarian Larry Sharpe. And on my right, I have with me also another great individual, and that is, and I have a great individual with me here on my left, and that is Mr. Cool Clyde. Clyde.
Call me Clyde, it's easier. It makes it much easier. I'm okay with that.
Fantastic.
Brother Clyde.
He's obviously cool, so it's fine.
That works.
Oh, thank you.
So, I have my two guests, and so we have two independents, a little bit more left-leaning, a little more centrist, and of course, I myself am a conservative Republican. I've run for Congress, and I've also been deeply involved in politics and political commentary for the last 20 years. Hopefully, this balance will reach out to you, and everyone in the audience should be able to connect to at least one of my guests, if not all of us. Let me start off with something that's, I think, the easiest way to walk into this, because President Trump and his administration have been very controversial.
True.
A lot of very interesting ideas. So let's start with what has worked and what has not worked over the last, what is it, a year and 2 months now? So I'm going to ask each of my guests, first of all, what did Trump do that you agree with? What did you disagree with? The top one thing in his administration so far that has worked or has failed for each of you, and tell me why, and then I'll give you my points.
I think it's combined for me, right? I think one of the things Trump did so well was he put together a coalition of people, right? He put together the Tulsi Gabbards, the Elon Musk, the RFK Juniors, and he gave Americans a place to go who were just unhappy and bothered, right? People where I think if you look at 2024, 2025, a lot of people were looking at Democrats and going, this is not what I want. I'm unhappy with Biden. I'm unhappy with what's happening. Things aren't good. And everyone could rush to Trump as a kind of centralized figure. I think that was a good idea. Him doing that was good. It got people to care again. People felt it was almost like, in a way, this insults me Republicans. It was almost like Obama's hope and change. It was almost like that, and that feeling of we can get something done, we can do good things. I think it did get a lot of people together who weren't Democrats, and that was a good thing of him getting the coalition together. But I think what happened is when he did that, he was able to get a mandate. He was able to win all 7 swing states. He was able to beat Kamala Harris in the popular vote. But I think it gave him and his establishment a bit too much hubris. I think they then began to go too far. Then they thought, I can do no wrong. I can do anything. I can keep going. And because of that, this is the part that I think was bad. They had terrible communication at, I think, almost every level. If Trump is trying to make the tariffs work, he did not communicate that well. If he's going to go to war and bomb somebody, he did not explain that well. None of his communication came across to America well. What he was trying to achieve did not work, and I think it happened because he had this coalition, he had this mandate, and he thought, I can do whatever I want, and he failed to communicate.
Clyde.
Well, I come from a different perspective on that. I think, Trump, what I think that he did pretty good was he fired so many high-ranking officials. I have never seen that. Most people would think that he would go after just black people. He fired high-ranking officials. And I just think for a person that will tell you straight to your face, no matter what it is, he doesn't shake, he tells you exactly what it is. I respect that. Then to sit at a table with somebody smiling with me, eating dinner with me, making me feel like everything is okay, and next thing you know, I'm being lynched. But he will tell you straight to his face. If I don't like you, I'll call you the N-word to your face. But I respect that because at least I know not to go down that alley. If I do, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, I want my clan members to be wearing the hood. I want to know they're wearing the hood, right? I want them to be wearing the hood, right? I want to make sure I know where they are. Okay, that's where you are? Okay, good.
Wait. That's an interesting point of view. We're going to address that in a second. But that's what you think he did right. So, Clyde, tell me, what do you think he did wrong?
He's very disobedient to the Lord Jesus Christ.
And what do you mean by that?
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. He's the highest ranking president, official. What are our young and grassroots people, for that matter, people from around the world is watching our leader?
Okay.
Hypocrisy.
Interesting. Before we get into that, because I have a few questions about that on both of your points, let me give a slightly different point of view. I think one of the best things that Donald Trump has done as the 47th president is he has dealt with tariffs. Now, I know a lot of people look at the tariffs and they think of short-term prices go up. That is a means to an end. The first thing that we have to think about is what is the purpose of a tariff?
That's my point. You're hitting my point perfectly.
Yeah, it's long-term. This is, and it is and I'll get to that part. I know what you're thinking of. But the purpose is to create self-sufficiency within our country, to be able to build up manufacturing, to be less dependent on foreign countries for essential items, to build our economy. Now, this process takes
And why are you better explain it than he is?
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me get... Hang on, Larry.
Go ahead.
I know you're very excited about this.
Go ahead.
By the way, folks, we've had this argument before. But this is essential for America to be self-sufficient, and it's a long-term 5-year, possibly 10-year plan. So that's one of the best things he did. He set up America to be self-sufficient. The problem, and one of his biggest failures in the administration to date, is that he has been communicating some of the essential items of his administration poorly. And that's usually when he's not directly connected to that issue, but he is the commander-in-chief. And so it is on him to make sure everything is clear. So I do fault him for this because people are looking at tariffs and allowing the media generally to say, well, this is short term. Next week, the price of X is going to go up. Next month, the price of Y will go up. But they fail to mention, and it's not being communicated well, yeah, but in about a year, in 2 years, 3 years, you're going to own a business. And that's going to make more money for you, your family, your community, and it's going to improve America. And by the way, the price will go down because you have that business. So that is the good and bad. And I think that's the biggest one because it has one of the largest impacts on America going forward. So that's a different perspective. Let me address something, Clyde, that you were alluding to, but you didn't mention. You're alluding a racial aspect of this. And I know there are many people who have a racial component to this president, more so than we've seen in many other presidents. Why?
Well, I never want to go and try to change anything into a racial aspect because I think we've been playing that pattern for so many years and it's gotten us nowhere.
You're right.
It's about the individual. Each individual. We are in a time that has never been seen before, nothing like this. Sometimes when I look at this, I feel like I'm on Novocaine, like I'm half asleep, and this is just going to go away in about a week or so. But this is here to stay, at least in my time, in my generation.
I feel like we're going backwards in a way.
It seems that way.
I feel like we're going backwards.
But are we going backwards because of President Trump? Or is it something more cultural? Or is it more political? From my perspective, and maybe you gentlemen disagree with me, I feel that we've been led more backwards, but this is something that started with the Obama administration when he had the beer summit. And that entire environment of promoting BLM, that created a more racial aspect to America that we're all old enough to remember the 90s. And we know that America was coming together. And we had a more unified, universal view of Americans, which we don't have today. Am I wrong?
There's nothing new under the sun. all of these things is happening because of a lot of politics. This country is not a country, it's a corporation. Trump is a businessman, as we understand. However, he has plenty of family members that will benefit greatly from this.
But isn't that true of every president and all of the friends of every president, every politician, members of Senate, of the House? Everyone's connected to politics. That's normal. That's not unusual. That Trump isn't any different than any other president that has existed, or any of the leaders.
I disagree.
Nancy Pelosi has brought in hundreds of millions.
No. That's
Okay.
not true. That's
Go ahead,
not true at all. There's no doubt that Trump has been more brazen, more open, more forward than any of the presidents before. I'm not saying other presidents don't do it, but Biden tried to hide everything. Biden tried to hide his son until the last minute. They all try to hide it. Trump does not.
He doesn't hide it, but it's not unusual, nor is it something that...
You said he's no different.
Well, yeah.
He is different. He doesn't hide anything. He's openly brazen about it.
Okay, my reference of he's not any different in that he is making money while he is
They
president.
all make money. I'm with
That's
you.
my point.
Nancy Pelosi tried to lie and hide it. They all try to
Exactly.
lie. He does not. He just comes. He's the most gangster of all. He comes out and says, I'm doing it. I think that's your point.
Yeah, I
right?
like his bravado, Trump's
Yes,
bravado.
that's what I'm saying. You're saying that he's not different. You're wrong. He's very different. He's straight up. He's got his kids going. I got my kids now going to go do stuff. I got my kids.
Okay.
That didn't happen before.
Okay.
It never happened like this before.
Okay, but...
And this is his point of the example that it gives to everybody else.
Wait a minute,
Right?
wait a minute.
The example that the Trump gives everybody else is just go do it. Who cares? The others, they pretended like they weren't. It's a difference. You're saying they're the same. They're not the same.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying, that it's more obvious to the public.
100%.
And I think that's what you're saying as well, that this is obvious to the public.
Yes.
But I don't think it's an inherent difference, and it doesn't really change the presidency or how the
So
president
if
is looked at.
you and I
going
go
forward.
and get a taxi, but you're butt naked and I'm not, there's a difference. We both get in a taxi. It's kind of different.
Okay, that is a horrible example, and you know
but
it.
it's the same.
That makes no sense.
Yes, no, because if I go
No,
and get a taxi and I'm dressed regular, no one notices me. No one cares. I'm getting a taxi.
Okay.
You go out there butt naked, people are like, "What?
That has-
Why are you out there?"
Okay, while that's...
Changes everything.
That's
I
very
think the
flamboyant,
politics
but
system
incorrect.
should
Go
be
ahead.
revamped all over again. I think we should come back, because a lot of times people say, you can't mix religion and politics. Well, who you think created politics? Jesus Christ. But what happened is, once man gets involved, man starts to see what he can do and benefit, and he turns away from the way and the rules the way God had set things up. And so that's why there's so much corruption that's going on in the world. There's so much evil and wickedness. God has given us a chance to come back to him. This is a game that's being played over and over and over again. The next person that is coming in, they might have good intentions, good heart.
I bet a lot do.
But once they get in,
Yes.
and they start to see
Yes.
what's really going on, because I had a former manager. He was into politics, black man in particular, very good, family oriented. He took me behind the scenes and he told me, listen, when he got behind the scenes, them folks told him, there's not enough room for another Martin Luther King. He got that message.
Well, I don't know. One, that's
Yeah,
a
but
very...
your community issue, you're talking about the community, right? And I'm agreeing with you completely.
Okay.
The more we have the government demagogue come in, whether it's Trump, whether it's Hochul, doesn't matter. Whatever government demagogue comes in, when you bring government in, you remove community.
Okay.
Every single time. So now I don't have
Yeah.
to go someplace else. The Bible doesn't matter. I got law. Jesus doesn't matter. I got a governor. I got a president.
And it's
They all
not-
get,
wait a
my
minute.
family doesn't matter because I got programs.
Wait,
And we keep
Nothing
pushing
matters.
vote,
Hang on.
Thank you.
vote,
Thank you.
vote.
Hang on.
Thank
But
you.
is it about money, power,
Yes.
do it as I will?
Yes.
Hang on, gentlemen.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
No, I don't think that's correct, but hang on. Because we're going off of what our purpose is when talking about the Trump administration. We're talking about a current presidency. We're talking about the current politics and what's going on in America. And I understand there are other viewpoints that come into this. Let me be very specific.
Okay.
Okay, so we're talking about religion doesn't really have a place in politics. It has a place in an individual, in a person and how you may apply your beliefs to any figure, that's on you. We have the freedom in America to do that. But what we're talking about is a government which, yes, government does have some authority over the individual. I understand you're a libertarian. You want none of that.
I think a little bit. A little bit's fine. A little bit's fine.
But most people accept and understand that to have a society that functions, while it's a wonderful ideal as a libertarian to believe, well, we'll just all get along, that's not the reality we've seen in history. We do have governments for a purpose. And that purpose is separate of the religion. It's about having an orderly society. And I believe that Donald Trump, hang on.
Isn't it downstream from culture?
No, wait a minute. But I believe under the Trump administration, what we have seen is that we've had a return to more orderly government, something that we have not been receiving.
They're shooting people in the streets. What are you talking about more orderly government?
What do you mean shooting people in the streets?
People getting shot in the streets.
Are you talking about the criminals? That happens all the time, yes. And we're trying to reduce that, and that is working. What specifically? You're talking about ICE.
You just said more orderly.
Yes.
I'm looking at the words you said. You said Trump is no different. I explained how he's different. You then said orderly. This is not orderly. If it was orderly, Minnesota was not orderly.
Okay,
that's not true. That's why he had to back out. That's why they didn't make a deal. That was not. Now,
Larry.
Memphis, orderly. Agreed. Texas, orderly. Agreed. Minnesota, no.
Okay.
That was not orderly.
Then let's address this, because I know you want to bring this up. And Larry, I
this
love
your fault, not mine. You brought it up.
No, it's not my fault. It's perfectly fine.
What is the solution?
Well, first to address, is the nation and the world more orderly, more stable now under a Trump than, say, a Biden or an Obama or...
Oh, am I comparing them? Is that what I'm doing?
Well, that's what I'm doing, yes.
Okay.
And the answer is yes. Is there perfection in that? No.
No, I agree.
And hang on. And we know that there are several factors, in particular the far left, and the further left you go, the more anti-Trump, it's called Trump derangement syndrome for a reason. We see that they are more actively and more violently against that control that we haven't seen under other presidents. Now, is Trump the same? That's a different context. You know, you're taking me out of context on that.
What are you talking about?
And that's what we were talking about, something completely different, and you know it, and that's okay. But
see what I put up with?
Yeah. We're friends, but we disagree. Now, to come back, you had said your question was, how do we fix this?
What's the solution to this? Because I mean, I always try to have an ear and fight for those people, regular working people,
yes,
particularly grassroots people,
yep,
that might see two men on TV with business suits on or whatever, talking about politics, and change the channel.
You're not wrong.
Because they don't feel like they identify with what's going on every day. Mm-hmm. We're in these communities. We go into these stores. We see things get on the actual bus or the train or whatever. We see so many things that are not being addressed. We just keep getting pacified, putting a pacifier in your mouth, and thinking everything is just going to go away. Exactly.
I would say distracted.
And you mentioned something about Barack and President. I used to call him 45, but I guess he's President 47 now. Barack opened up the door for this alphabet city. Whereas Trump may say in front of the people, he may kind of try to appease the people and say, he's not for it or he's for it. But I think behind the scenes, he's not for it.
Okay, well, before you go further, what alphabet city? What do you mean, alphabet city?
Well,
what do you mean?
We're talking about, the homosexual gay community. This is what we're talking about.
It's the alphabet people, LGBTQ plus,
transformers.
I just want to make sure we're clear about what we're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
So that isn't, first of all, they're Americans, they have rights like anyone else.
Sure.
The Trump administration hasn't restricted them in any way. And he shouldn't. Government doesn't have a place in our bedrooms or as how we interact as individuals, other than to make sure that no one is unduly.
Oh, they do
under
have
duress.
a place in our bedrooms. Most of our TVs have cameras in it that watch and hear what's going on. Oh, they do.
Okay,
when you sign on your cell phone, that's why they call them smartphones. When you log on to things, most people don't read the fine print. what you're signing.
My
They just
FBI
want
agent, I
they
don't know
want
his
quick
name.
service, so they just click agree. But you're giving your information over to third
Clyde,
parties
Clyde, but
that get your
Clyde,
information, and the police departments
Clyde,
can now see everything
Clyde,
that you are doing.
One moment.
Come
Let me bring you back to.
That's what we need to talk to.
Wait
We
a minute.
can't keep putting a Band-Aid over cancer. We need to deal with it and get to the solution.
Okay, Clyde, what you're talking about, one, is an individual action, not government. Two, that has nothing to do with the Trump administration. What you're talking about, and I'm not disagreeing with you, yeah, people should read their contracts, the agreements that we all just scan through and click on. That's an individual choice. That is a corporation made that, and you signed on to it. You didn't have to. You didn't have to buy that TV. You made that choice. That has nothing to do with the government. That has nothing to do with the Trump administration. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's not appropriate. That has nothing to do with this.
I think
you can't blame Trump for that.
I think that's kind of a cop-out because
How?
because these are certain things that we need in order to survive in this society. Unless we're going to go into a whole totally different country where you're on an island by yourself, which is really unrealistic.
Okay.
We have to deal with reality.
Okay, and
all right,
here's-
because
here's the
sometimes we
reality.
use selective words.
So you're
to,
saying things like your cell
we
phone is
need
now
to
like a
get to
utility
the root
almost.
of this stuff.
So
And
you're
this
saying
is
things
the-
like a cell phone and like internet access has become basically like utility now. You kind of have to. have it
Yeah,
to survive.
absolutely.
I see what
You
you're saying.
understand. We
Yeah,
on the
I
same
get
sheet
you.
of music.
Well,
we need to talk about
then
that.
the answer to that, if you want to say that these things are utilities, again, then the answer is voting to have elected officials to pass a law to say that our cell phones, our internet access are now utilities in the public
I
square
think
and to manage
since the
them.
voting system was in existence, I think it failed us. I think that we need to come back to Almighty God, surrender to Him, be a slave to Him. These are the last days. There was
What
a
if I don't
time
agree with
when you
that?
had.
I don't want to hear that.
Wait a
Don't
minute,
tell
wait
me
a minute.
that. I don't want to hear
Wait a
that.
minute.
There was a
What if I
time
don't
when you
agree?
had
I don't want to hear
Noah.
that. No.
Noah's Ark.
You had me until that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear
Yeah,
that.
no, stop, no,
I don't
stop
wanna hear
right
that
there
one.
because
I
first of
wasn't ready
all,
yet till that. I don't want that.
your religious beliefs or anyone's individual religious beliefs doesn't necessarily matter to anyone else besides you and your connection to your God.
But no
That
one knows
and
when the end
government-
times are. No one does.
and
Not
no
even
one
you.
does. No one does.
No one does.
No, I'm
No
not
one does.
claiming that.
No one does.
I'm saying Jesus Christ knows.
That's correct.
That's
Fantastic.
what I'm
That's
saying.
correct.
I'm being very
Fantastic.
clear
Wait a
with
minute.
that.
But
But
wait a
I was
minute.
just trying to
No.
make an analogy with then and now because I don't want to just speak on the past without being relevant to what's going on because people will
Okay.
look at us like dinosaurs. We need to know what's going on today
Well, I'm
and
trying to
compare the
address
two
that.
because there's nothing new under the sun.
No, but that's what we're trying to address here today. but
Okay.
You're taking us into an entirely different
I told you that
conversation.
I will. I didn't surprise you with any
understand.
uppercuts.
I'm not mad,
And this
Clyde.
is
I'm not-
what
I'm
we
not upset with
need
you,
Clyde.
for the people to listen to and to be. And I'm not trying to create controversy or anything or be disrespectful in any manner. I'm just trying to have a voice for those that are sitting at home watching their program and seeing a change because constantly it's the same rhetoric. I watch world news, I watch the CNN, I watch local news like in the tri-state area, CBS News or Eyewitness News, but most of this stuff is being controlled by money. It's
who
that's
buys-
why
it's
most
who
people
buys
go
the
to
ads.
Okay,
yeah,
who buys
who
the
buys
ads?
that from Madison. Madison
Yeah.
Avenue sells that.
Yeah.
This is why people
Hang on.
open up the door for
Hang on.
YouTube
Hang
because
on.
now they get
Wait,
real mute,
wait a minute.
live,
I want to
real
I
time.
understand, Clyde. Hang on.
All right, I'm passionate about this.
I know. You cooking. I'm good.
There's no problem with being
Okay.
passionate, but I'm also trying to make sure we all have a voice.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure we all get some clarity here for people who are watching. So, what you're talking about is individualism, and more importantly, American citizens being active and involved in the politics and our communities, rather than passively. What we have, on average, 6 out of 10 people don't vote,
Yeah.
don't pay attention to the issues,
Yep.
and of those 4 that are, they're voting straight down the line, party line, no matter what. And that's not working for America.
Hand-me-down religion
Hang on, but
or
I want to give it to
politics.
Larry.
Politics.
So, Larry, I believe that is the core of the question that Clyde's looking at, and I believe that's the core of the question that many people in the audience are looking at. Where do you stand with that? Am I wrong? Am I right? Where are we?
No. I think the bigger issue is it is community, right? And community is very often religious throughout our history. Our history has been heavily built upon the center being the church. In our community, it used to be the black church.
Okay.
Now the black church is now kind of suffering, as you can see everywhere. I think it's true. It is a part of it. I think if we had more people who were staying to our community, and the example you find is the Amish, right? The Amish have stayed true for a long time. They rally behind their church, and the Amish people are growing. There's more people there's more Amish now in America than there ever been. They're still growing. Mennonites, they're all growing. So people are moving back to community. They are moving back to the local church. They're moving back to a smaller type of local government. I think that's true. And many of them don't vote. You're seeing it here, actually. You're even seeing it, believe it or not just with Christians, seeing with Jews, too. Hasidic Jews, Rockland County, Orange County, Brooklyn, you see many of them come back together to each other, same idea. I think you are seeing a lot of it because people are lost. To your point, they're not paying attention. And when they look at TV, what do they see? It's like gossip.
That's
It's
all
gossip.
it is. But
And it's
turn
not
the
gonna help
volume
me.
down and look. It's the same
wait a minute.
thing.
Yes.
It's like, well, you're not missing out.
So when I was talking about
Go ahead.
Trump, and you were saying it's not about Trump, whether we like it or not, the guy at the top does have some cultural impact.
Of course.
The guy at the top has cultural impact. And if that guy at the top is doing or saying things, even though they may not have the physical power, they do have the influence, right? And the one thing that people like Clinton did very well, Clinton, even though he was literally putting extra cops into the city to crush the black community, he was talking in a way like he cared and he loved us. I'm
Yes,
not
he
joking.
did. He did.
Absolutely true.
I know.
He was talking like he loved us, but while he was putting cops to our community, while he was fighting the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Right? So both of those matter. You can't just take one. You can't go, well, no, that's it. No, the rhetoric matters and the feeling matters. It's cultural and the policy matters. It's not one or the other. It's
Well,
both.
then it comes down to a question of culture versus politics. Which one is first? And that's an egg, chicken or egg. Which one comes first? There's a little bit of that question. But let's focus on what's happening right now. Because right now, we have an economy that has improved since Biden, but is not the same as what we have under the previous Trump administration. So it's not as good. And people
True.
are wondering about that. We have questions that are facing us about our stance internationally as well as here domestically. We have a lot of domestic issues, and we're going to get to all of those in the second half of the program. And maybe we'll get back to, we're going to focus on some specific questions that perhaps will give a little more clarity towards what we can expect in the future as well as what is going on now. So we'll be returning with everybody in just a few moments. Please stay with us.
There's a dragon on the wire, breathing digital flames. No soundbites allowed is the name of his game. With a coffee in one hand and his puppy on his lap, cigarettes curling, smoking his political trap. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue skies with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough. He's a Republican dragon with his truthful slight. Fights the battles unseen in the shadows of the night. From policy to passion, he breaks it all down, giving a voice to the voiceless, wearing his crown. Caffeine-fueled mornings, the smoke curls dance. Puppy at his feet, giving life one more chance. Through algorithms and bias, he cuts straight and clear. Michael's roar echoes in the hemisphere. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue skies with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough. No soundbites allowed is his ultimate creed. A dragon's perspective where facts are the seed. Standing tall on his battlefield of thoughts, guarding the truth that others forgot. Michael Vass roars through the screen, he flies, painting red and blue rise with his fiery cry. He's the world's watchdog, calling out the bluff. Right-wing swagger, but his heart's pretty tough.
Thank you for joining us during this special event. We're talking about the Trump administration. We're talking about America. We're talking about our connection with each other. It's been a very active conversation here with my two guests because we didn't do it at first. We just jumped right in.
Yes.
And I think people are interested in finding out who are my guests, who are we all? So let me start with Larry Sharpe. You are a personal friend of mine, but also, as everyone can see, we disagree on some issues. But Larry, take a moment.
I go by my AKA Cool Clyde. Oh God, you took it. Okay, so I'm not Cool Clyde today. Today I'm Larry Sharpe. That's who I am, running for governor of New York, trying to make a better new New York. The system is broken. We've had the same party control this state for the past 20 some odd years, and the party in charge won't fix it, and the party not in charge doesn't seem to care to fix it. Someone's got to try to fix it, and I'm that guy trying to make it happen. That's why when you've heard me talk, I spoke to Clyde, I was giving you real answers, trying to find out what's actually happening so we can actually fix things. So that's me, LarrySharpe.com.
Okay. And on my other end, opposite me again, is Cool Clyde. Please take a moment to explain yourself. Who is Cool Clyde?
I'm a child of God. You know, I'm also a producer here at Bronxnet as well. I've been producing here almost over 20 years. I've also worked so closely with 98.7 KISS formerly and WBLS 107.5. You know, some of my radio air personality mentors that are no longer here anymore, Bob Slade and Judge Pickett and Peter Noel, Cutman. I've been groomed around them for so many years. Also a hip-hop legend that's been in hip-hop, the brains behind bringing a hip-hop museum here to the Bronx.
Oh, nice.
Also, the first DJ, along with my cousin Lightning Lance, to record live scratching on a record worldwide. It has never, ever been done before. Not the inventor of scratch, but to actually go into a recording studio and put live scratching on a record worldwide.
Most people don't know that rap started in the Bronx.
Yeah,
Most don't know that.
That's
I
right.
thought that everyone knew that by now.
No, they think it's Brooklyn.
Really?
Yes, I hear it all the time.
I have not heard that.
I've heard that more than once. And
That
it's
is
not.
new to me. That
Yes,
is new.
I've heard that more
'Cause
than once.
I'm a Bronx boy. I am the Bronx boy here. And I knew that, but
I knew
I
that.
thought the world knew that. Okay, fair enough. Well, we're
So I'm
dating
glad he
ourselves.
said it. So now we know. I'm glad he said it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
brought it up.
Thank you.
We're dating ourselves a little bit, but that's fine.
I'm 29. Be quiet.
So, folks, we're going to step away from, well, what was the pros and cons of Trump, which seem more like the pros and cons of America and government at this moment. There's a step that's been missed. I think we all can agree with that. And there needs to be more, whether it's individually and or as our communities, to take a step back and become more accountable, to be more self-responsible. I think we all can agree with that. But let's deal with a couple of things that are facing our nation right now. I'm going to go into something that is obviously very controversial. A lot of people may have said this is Trump's biggest failure or his biggest gain. We're going to take a look at what's happening with the U.S.-Iran war, which just started. For those who are seeing this a little bit later, this is the end of week 1 of that conflict, which has been going well for the United States. We're going to take a quick look at a video clip of this so that we'll get into that mood and we'll have that conversation. Now, what we can see from that clip is some really important information. Obviously, the United States has gone in. We've taken a military action, which many will define as a war, in Iran. We have Iranians across the world and in Tehran, as we saw, that are celebrating about this. But obviously, even as many people are very happy about it, there are many people around the world that are not. But this is about America. And this is about the Trump administration. This is about our future. So I want to ask you, gentlemen, where do you stand on this? America is trying to make up its mind. Where are we on this? Are we happy about it? Are we upset about this? Is it going to be good or bad for America? I started with you before, Larry, so cool. I'll start with you.
I think it's going to be a disaster for America.
Why?
Number one, I think of the lives, the innocent babies and families that are being destroyed that are not gaining from this at all.
True.
What is the world seeing? Trump controls the media at this point.
I disagree.
What I'm saying, whatever is being pushed out there, I'm not talking about necessarily YouTube or anything like that. Basically, your local television news reporters. That's why it's good to have an independent and other avenues to get your information out in real time.
Given.
Right? So what I see now is, again, as I said earlier, the disobedience. God teaches us in the scriptures, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. What you see in the world is people applauding the war, and then there are people on the other side who are suffering, right? But how do we know the people who are applauding this? I'm talking about the people from Iran are the main people that live there. It could be that that's just a message for us to see in the Western side to think.
So that could be staged, you think?
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be staged.
Staged.
Okay.
Larry, before I address, because I have a different point of view about that, it's interesting, but Larry, I know you're very passionate about this
I
for
hate
many
war.
reasons.
I hate war. I'm
that's
so
it.
tired of us bombing. I hollered when Obama bombed. I holler when Bush bombs. I hollered when Clinton bombed. I hollered when Trump bombs. I can't stand the bombing. I hate it like there's no tomorrow. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. And one of the reasons why it drives me crazy is America has notoriously never followed up effectively since World War II. Can we win battles? Of course, we win battles all the time. Most of the battles we win. Once in a while we lose a battle here or there, but what, 1 in 100? We rarely lose a battle. But can we actually win a war? And not just that, can we win a peace? So far we haven't. We haven't won a war, we haven't won a peace since 1945. Every one of our battles we fought has somehow ended up poorly. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. We spent 20 years in Afghanistan to replace the Taliban with a better armed Taliban. That's what we did, and I fear the same thing here. Can we beat Iran? Of course we can. We have the strongest military on the planet. Of course, I'm not surprised that we blew people up. Of course we do. And and look, I'm a Marine. I'm proud of our firepower. I'm proud that we defend our people. I'm proud that our casualty rate's higher compared to the others. The question is, will this end? And look, I'm going to give Trump credit here. Trump is a deal maker. He's a deal maker. He absolutely is a deal maker. If this deal can be made to where the Iranian people are happy, well done. That has not been America's past. If Trump can do it, good. If he can't, we're going to follow the same road we've been in the past.
Okay. And to give a different perspective on this, I disagree.
I'm not surprised.
With you both. Well, yes.
Yes.
Another Marine disagrees. Okay. We're both Marines. But here's something that I say. I believe that the Trump administration has learned from previous actions that we have seen, talking about Iraq, talking about Afghanistan.
I hope you're right.
And I believe that's the main reason why we're not seeing troops on the ground in Iran. Now, if that does happen, there will be some difference. There will be a change. But at this moment, that is the plan moving forward, for the Iranian people to rise up, if they choose to direct their own government. We are dealing with a threat to America, a 47-year threat.
We're dealing with stick-up kids. That's what we're dealing with.
Well, that's another way to word the Ayatollah, yes. And I don't disagree with it. They are terrorists, and they have killed thousands of Americans over the last 47 years with a promise and an intent to kill every American, regardless of their ideology, look, creed, everything. They want us all wiped off the face of the earth because we don't believe what they believe. Fair enough. We are dealing with that now.
Utterly not true.
I understand you disagree
Utterly
with
not
that,
true.
but
I meet Iranians. They don't hate us.
I didn't say
They
the
hate our
Iranian
government.
people. We're talking about the governments. We're talking
Yes.
government to government.
Yes, but they hate our government. Iranians like Americans. They hate our
Yes.
government. So they don't want to wipe
no,
us
no.
all off the map. That's not a thing.
The Ayatollah wants to wipe us off the map.
Well, he's no longer
and
with
his
us.
fanatics. Well, his fanatics are some of them. We're getting rid of them, and giving the opportunity for the Iranian people who were women being stoned to death for being sexually assaulted themselves. We have individuals who have been stoned to death for just not believing what the Ayatollah believes, and the mullahs who also control that country. So we are seeing a game change within the world, and I think the way that the process has started so far is not what we have seen traditionally.
I hope you're right.
And
I don't think
believe
it's
that
going to
won't.
benefit the average person, the average working poor class.
That's my
citizen.
fear.
I don't think
that's
at
my
all.
fear. I hope you're wrong. I hope he's right. But that's my fear, is what you just
And I
said.
believe that the average person in America, poor or not, will be benefiting because, one, you're safer. We're talking about the number one source of global terror in the world. That includes terror that's happened here, things like San Bernardino, Fort Hood, Orlando. That comes from Iran and its effort to increase the amount of terror in the world.
What makes us more safer? More policing? More
No, less
military?
terrorism. Less terrorism. The source of terrorism in the world, the lead author and promoter of terrorism in the world is Iran. There is no question on that.
There's lots of questions on that.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
Every nation in the world has agreed to that. Every
Who,
nation.
controls the media?
Not true at all. You tell me the Turks believe that? The Syrians believe that? No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Guarantee they don't. 100% they don't.
Much of the terrorism happening in Syria is coming from Iran and its puppets.
But they wouldn't call it terrorism. That's my point. Those people wouldn't call it that.
Well, they call it a war.
Thank you. They don't call it. So you just said, does anyone disagree? I told you people disagree. They don't see the terrorism. If you're saying overall violence, okay, yeah, I buy that.
Okay,
but not terrorism. You said terrorism.
I
The
understand.
people there don't see the terrorism.
That's a matter of semantics. It's still fighting Iran. They still see Iran as the bad guy and the source of violence in their countries.
Not
And
wrong.
that is true in Europe and every other country in the
So
world.
what is the purpose of this war?
What
Is
the
it to
purpose?
benefit the people? Is it for oil? Is it for,
And see, this is
civil
where...
right? We need to get to the bottom of
Okay.
This goes back to my earliest
Because-
point.
Wait a minute.
His communication has been terrible.
I don't
Yes.
want us to
This
sound
goes
like
back
another
to my earliest
CNN
point. I
or
agree.
Eyewitness News. I want us to be a little bit more
Well, wait a minute.
assertive with solutions and talk to the people.
Hang on.
Go out to the
I'm with you.
streets and talk to the people and hear what's going on in their minds.
Okay, and let me...
Get them involved with this
Right.
program.
Let me address that. Because part of the problem is the public isn't paying attention. Because the
Why?
information's
Because
out
they
there.
see the same
No.
thing being played
I-
over and over and over
and
and
I
over. They're
disagree.
tired. They're
I dis-
being dumbed down
Right.
from this.
And I disagree because the
I'm
information...
in the streets. I'm in the
So am I.
community. I see what's going
so
on.
do I. And you know what I
I
say?
interact with people in the grocery stores, in the hood. I
Clyde.
talk to these people.
Clyde, let me
I
address...
talk to corporate America. I sit
Clyde.
down with these people.
Clyde, we all do. And here's the thing. The average American
I don't think
doesn't...
enough people do that.
Well, that's true.
That is true, but the average American isn't doing their part, much like we were speaking about before. 6 out of 10 don't vote. Even more people, we know, we can walk down the street together right now, and you know that if we talk to 100 people about the issues that are affecting America, including this war,
Many
more
black people-
Wait a minute.
What?
More people will tell you they know about the Kardashians, they know about their sports ball
I
team,
agree.
and
I
they have
agree with
no
that.
idea about what's going
I
on
agree.
in politics. So is the fault the Trump administration on that? Is that the fault of the media, or is that in part, and probably a majority, individuals who gave up?
I think a lot of it has to do with the churches leaving, not being responsible. A lot of the former pastors that stood for something are no longer standing for what they're supposed to stand for. There's a sellout. You got many elected officials are now stepping into the pulpit, which is a dangerous place to be, for votes. That's making mockery of God. God is watching everything that we do. There's a time and there's a place for certain things. But when you step in that pulpit, you better know what you're doing.
Well, I agree with you that there should
Okay.
be a separation of church and state, as our country was designed to be. And I do believe that many politicians blur that because they're
Why?
encouraged to do so, because people respond, because people vote based on that, they donate based on that. And a lot of our
It's about the money.
politicians are corrupt enough
You're not
to
wrong.
do nothing but try to search for that next dollar. They vote, search for
And
that
you
next
know-
vote. And going to a church is easy.
Yep.
We saw that with Kathy Hochul. Walked in, hang on, Kathy Hochul on Martin Luther King's birthday, walked into a black church and lied to the public about an event that happened in Clay, New York, which there is now body cam video talking about illegal aliens, saying black people were being segregated and thrown around. And there's actual reporting and video, which no one looks up, that actually shows the body cam. Nothing she said to that black church was true. She took advantage of the church. She took advantage of people investing in her authority. And that is common. And I think that's the problem you're talking about. But Larry, I think you agree with me on the core of that, but is there a part of that you disagree with?
Yes. And the only part I would say that the problem is we don't hold them accountable either, right? So that's the other issue, right? So I walk into your church and I pretend that I'm the most religious person in the world, and I'm not, and then my actions are not that at all,
Right.
and you still vote for me.
Absolutely.
And why?
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And
Why?
I think there should be punishment for me being a liar, which is why your earlier point you talked about, even though Trump sometimes you don't like what he says, you respect that he says it, and you know where he is. And it's common, right? He does crazy stuff, people go,
Right.
yeah, that's Trump.
Right.
Because you still think, that's still him, he's
Right.
real. There's not enough punishment for politicians
Right.
who are disingenuous. But if you go to what you talk about YouTube there is. In the market, if you're someone who's a liar, gets in trouble, man, your people leave you. They walk away, they go find somebody else, right? There's punishment in the pundit world, in the YouTube world. But politics, there's nothing. There's no punishment.
And this is what we need. You have a president that could pardon people. They should
Yes.
have it where that should be taken away altogether. Criminals.
I disagree with that.
Listen, you got people who have did serious crimes, okay?
Yes.
Were put away for a small period of time, which they told them when they got behind the scenes, don't worry about it, we're going to deal with you, we're going to do other things, we're going to distract them.
Wait a minute, that's a conspiracy
No, it's not a
theory.
conspiracy.
No, it
These
is a
things do
conspiracy theory.
happen. We need to shine light on these
Hang on.
things.
I do believe that,
And
yes.
most of the
wait a minute.
time,
What about the wrongly
Wait a minute.
convicted?
most of the time we have,
Hold on, what about the wrongly convicted?
we're not in
Guys,
agreement. We find
guys.
ways to get away
Guys,
from this all.
hold on.
And then later on, you find out that individuals were right.
Hold on.
Yeah, but what
wait a
about
minute, Larry.
the unjustly convicted?
Wait a minute. We have a lot.
Now that-
Hang on, guys. I know. We're
I
being
agree with
passionate.
you with
we have
that.
a lot to cover, but we do need to move on because we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
All right.
So there is another video, which is also another hot button issue.
Okay.
And this happened during the State of the Union. I think we've all seen at least clips of this, and we're going to see another clip of it. I think it's pretty important.
Is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself, not
The most famous clips of a State of the Union, especially in recent memory, but I think perhaps overall. Donald Trump made a very simple statement that I think is at its core irrefutable. The purpose of every government, no matter what government you have, is of course to protect its people. That's a fact. And yet that fact, that core principle, was refuted by Democrats, and it seems to have been done just for politics, to get some cheap, easy votes. I ask each of you, and I'll start with you, Larry, was that a bad thing for America? And if so, or if not, why?
No, it was just politics. He was trying to get a cheap hit, and they were trying to get a cheap hit. And they both got commercials off it, and they're both going to raise money off it. That's all that is. The Democrats got to go, we hate Trump, boo, and they make money off it. And Trump got to go, you guys are evil, and he'll make money off it. What Trump did, what could they do? If they stood, they get hammered by their electorate, right? Why do you not care about immigrants? Why did you do anything Trump said? They get hammered by the constituents and the donors, so they can't stand. If they sit down, they get hammered by the media. They were screwed either way. So they just sat down and they cared more about their donors than they care about me or you anyway. So they kept the donors happy. That was the right answer. And Trump did a nice little cheap thing and it worked well for him. It's politics. I bet half those people don't care either way. It was just politics.
Clyde.
One of my old mentors who passed away was James M. Toomey. He used to always say on the radio, Republicans, Democrats, they both on the same bird. One robs the bank and the other one drives the getaway car. What's the difference?
Okay.
I like that.
That's an interesting, I haven't heard that before.
I like that.
I kind of like that. But I think there's
I want to drive
more.
the car.
Well, if you have to, get in the
Safer.
car.
Yeah, safer.
You can get away faster. You know?
Exactly, yes.
But I think that moment said a lot about America. Yes, you can say it was a trick, and some people have said it's a trap by Donald Trump, except it shouldn't have been, because he wasn't wrong with what he said.
Well, no, the way he said it, he said the number one is to protect citizens.
Yes.
It's actually not true. The number
That
one
is
is to
true.
protect the rights of citizens, not protect citizens. It's actually, it is semantically, but it's not true.
That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. Correct.
Key words.
Correct.
See, most of the time,
yes.
people just
Thank
they
you.
don't pay attention to
Yep.
the key word.
It is
They
not
just
the
go
job to
along
protect
with
every
this is the
citizen.
thing.
It's
We
not to
need
protect
to
our
be
rights.
And
have
not
no,
individual citizens.
clarity
And
and
let
be
me-
very
no, let me clear.
accurate
Thank
at
you.
what is being said out of this
Clyde,
person's
let
mouth.
me be very clear, because it is the purpose of a government to protect its people from things they cannot protect themselves from.
That's not what he said.
That is what he said.
No.
That
He
is
said
it.
it is to protect
The public.
American. No,
Yes.
he didn't say that. If you go back, what he said specifically was
There
the
you go.
number
Yes.
one job is to protect the
Protect
American
American
people.
citizens. Yes.
And that's not true.
Yes,
it
it
is to
is.
protect the rights of us.
No.
If you say that, then if you agree with that, you are saying a police state is a fine thing.
No, I'm not.
That
Let me-
authoritarian
no, I'm not.
right
Now-
to-
happen
now
to
you're
be-
going extreme.
That's what you're
Hang
saying.
on.
If
No.
my job
you happen to
is
be a
to
Trump
protect
supporter?
every single
Hang on.
person,
Let
then
me
I have
respond.
to do
Let
everything
me
I do to
respond.
protect every single person. You
Larry.
can't stub your toe. You can't fall down off
Larry.
a tree. I got to protect you.
No.
Your rights I got to protect.
No.
Not you.
Again, Larry.
That's why it's the Second Amendment.
Again, I understand why there's a Second Amendment. You know I love it as much as you do.
Yep.
And it is the purpose of government to protect the people against things they cannot protect themselves against.
Where's that written?
Which would be,
Nowhere.
have you read the Federalist Papers?
I haven't. It's not written there at
Okay.
all. It is not written there one time.
It is
The
to
exact
protect us.
words
Thank
are
you.
not there.
That's correct. They're
But
not there.
Law is beyond, and the government is beyond the literal word of the law, because if we went literally by just the words of the law, there's a lot of problems
True.
in the world.
You know I'm with you on that.
So that's
Yeah,
not
and-
exactly correct. But go ahead, Clyde. I
You
don't
see
cut
the
off.
presidents and the government is pushing a lot of pushing average people to take pills. Every time you go to
They
a
care about
doctor's
you.
office,
They care about
it's
you.
a pill for this, it's a pill
Yeah.
for that, it's a pill for this, side effects of this, take this, and they bombarding you with this all day long with commercials, radio. It's just
Clyde, that's
this is
corporation.
something that is just deceiving the people.
But Clyde, you're talking about a commercial, a business action, which you're
I'm
just now
talking
speaking
a
about.
machine with a think tank that causes the questions and the statements that are coming out of my mouth to make others appear to be that this is a conspiracy. This is reality. This is truth.
Well, you're talking about what's happening with a corporation as opposed to what the president said at the State of the Union, and I'm not seeing the connection about whether or not you buy something. No, but we've gone a lot of places. It's only 3 minutes left. Obviously, these are impressive issues. that are not easy to resolve.
True.
Which is one of the reasons why we did this special. And I hope that the audience will reach out so we can do more of these specials, to have more of these conversations, to try and really drill down to what is the problem and what we can fix. Now, I believe that both of my guests have done a wonderful job of highlighting some of the pros and cons, some of the issues that we need to address. And I think America needs to stop and have more of these conversations and to specifically pick one thing. If I can say something to the audience, pick one issue, and then from that one issue, grow from there.
They should bring regular working people
Now,
in, school teachers, people who are educated. I'm not talking about bringing Sexy Red. I'm not talking about bringing these rappers that are coming in that are causing our people to look disgraceful. Cardi B. How do we let people like that be leaders in our communities?
That's one of the things I'm talking about.
These are the...
This is what I'm talking about. We need to have this conversation. And it starts with people saying, I have one issue. I want to be more libertarian. I want more freedom from the government. I want people to be more religious. I want them to have an opportunity to have spiritual enlightenment. Whatever is your one thing, you know what? Do me one favor this coming up week. Spend 1 hour delving into whatever is your thing. Whatever that one thing is, I don't care. It's for you. Spend 1 hour deep diving that issue and finding out, how can I make it a little bit better? And maybe that will be the answer for all of America, at least to start. I know there's so much more we want to talk about, and I know we want to have more of these conversations, because Clyde, you're passionate. I love your passion. Larry, you're passionate, and you're trying to do something. And here I am, we're all trying to do something in our own way. I think if we have all of America do that a little bit more, we're going to have a much better America going forward. And we didn't even talk about the midterm elections. I wanted to. We didn't get there. We didn't get to the 2028 election. I wanted to. We didn't get there. You know why? Because we're still talking about things that matter to millions, tens of millions of Americans, and it is important, each and every one of these issues. And we have some differences. But you know what? I think that if we have more of these conversations, we have more of these specials, we're going to get a result. I know there's so much more, but they're just telling me we are out of time now. We've got about 15 seconds. Go ahead.
These platforms will be eventually taken away if we don't stand up and do what we need to do.
True. Quick, you got 5 seconds.
He's right. Listen to this man. He's correct.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. I look forward to speaking to you again.